This week, lawmakers held the first meeting of Kentucky's Artificial Intelligence Task Force. Part of the discussion looked at steps that other states are taking on the emerging technology. 40 states passed some form of AI legislation this year, but lawmakers still have many questions over how the technology will be regulated. They also share concerns about AI's capacity for misinformation or fraud, what the energy demands will be, who owns generated content, and how bias is controlled. Already, it does not take much effort to replicate someone's own voice. Here's an example I made of my own. Just to be perfectly clear, at this point, none of the words you are hearing are actually being spoken by me, Bodie Brooks. Now, if you received a phone call or saw an online video using a trusted voice that you know to make a point, would it be obvious to you it isn't real? Now we're back to real me. This is actually me talking. We're still a long way from knowing what Kentucky's future AI legislation will look like, but lawmakers on this task force are hoping this is an opportunity to get a head start for when session returns in 2025. So Representative Stevenson, I'll let you start here. After hearing that example, what concerns you most as a lawmaker?
As a lawmaker, I'm very concerned about deep fakes, and we actually saw some legislation around that this past session. There was a Senate bill and a House bill dealing with those, and unfortunately neither one made it through. So right now that's a big concern that I think that we're facing, and I worry about some transparency and privacy issues if we kind of start moving down that road.
Representative Meade, you share those concerns?
Oh, absolutely, and I think that that's the concern from most folks out there. The issue with AI is that it's very difficult to understand it at the state level. It's not just a Kentucky problem, it's actually a national problem. I was just at a convention a couple of weeks ago where I serve on a board, and a lot of us came together from various states, and this was one of the topics of discussion, and every state is struggling with this right now. And I think that one of the things we're struggling with too is how do we create the laws and regulations around that without creating a hodgepodge environment across every state, because the companies that develop some of this technology is going to need to have some unified laws and regulations, and so we need the federal government to step in at some point as well. But this task force is going to look at a lot of that, but I think primarily what you're going to see is first, how is it going to be used in state government, because you gave a perfect example of what our fears are, but it can also be used for some good things, and we can use it in government. There are, for example, for Cabinet for Health and Family Services, we have a program there that has algorithms to check for who's eligible for public assistance and also checks for fraud. So it can be used in government. We just have to make sure that we set the rules and the regulations around it, that it's used properly, that the data is protected, and our constituents across the state are protected.
And as you mentioned there are a lot of people that are pretty excited about this technology, but the internet can also be a wild west, so to speak. So even if we were to bring forward some sort of legislation, is there any way that it could actually be enforced?
You know, and that's a really good question, and I think that that's a reason that we're studying it. And we're seeing a lot of people looking at this issue in various state legislatures, and it's evolving so quickly. It's really hard for us to understand exactly how far it can go. We know that there's a lot of dangers out there, but as we said, there are so many pros, as well as to the things that it can help with just regular mundane activities, but also in seeking out fraud and helping manage very critical infrastructures down the road. I think a big thing that we just really need to focus on is being sure that we have enough staff that truly understands this, and that we are capable of anything that is being thrown at us as a state.
And that was something I also kind of wanted to acknowledge here before we go, is that not everyone in politics is particularly tech savvy, and how that could be a potential hurdle as we go, in the direction of making new legislation. Any thoughts there?
Go ahead.
Well, I think, like you said, there is some excitement about it as well. I think that again, it's an issue that we don't know what's going to come out from it. This is going to be a year-long study, and once that task force comes back with their recommendations, we'll see what we're going to go with it. However, as far as enforcement goes, it will be difficult to enforce, but it's the same way that we pass certain laws when it comes to the internet, geofencing. We can at least control it and protect it, with some of the geofencing and things that are supplied by the internet.
About 20 seconds if you have any final thoughts,
Yep.
Representative.
Well, we've already stepped out into this space a little bit as we passed the autonomous vehicle bill this year, and so that has caused a little bit of heartburn for some folks, especially in my caucus. We definitely want to be sure that we're keeping our students safe and that we can be sure that we're protecting school buses from this until we know a little bit more.
All right, thank you very much. We'll have to leave it right there.